With Hashem's loving grace, this is Laser Brody on Emuna Beams from the land of Israel, and we're broadcasting in the middle of the war that's going on here. As you saw in the previous clip, that was not an Independence Day celebration. That is the sky over the south of Israel, Ashdod and Ashkelon. In the last 24 hours, this is what it looks like. Up till now, in the land of Israel, we've been hit with over 2,000 missiles from Gaza. In Ashdod alone, more than 200, Ashkelon, more than 400, Shderot, many, many more than that. We ask ourselves, what is going on here? As we look in everything with the eyes of Emuna, we have to say, what's the war mean with the eyes of Emuna? And all this suffering, and what was more acute in this war is for the first time since 1948, there's civil unrest and uprising amongst the Arabs within Israel. It's happening in Jerusalem, it's happening in Lod, all over in Tiberias and Jaffa, and the Arab villages in the Galilee. And first said, there's no one, everyone is in the front. This is the first time that everyone is in the front. Even last night, there were even 3 missiles fired from Lebanon, which gives the fear that there might be open another front. But where's this all coming from? The Midrash tells us that a person can't lift up his pinky finger down here if it's not decreed from Hashem upstairs. So everything that's happening in the war, it's not Hamas and it's not Hezbollah and it's not the missiles, it's all Hashem. Wait, this is puzzling. If it's all Hashem, isn't Hashem a loving father? Yes, he is. Who is Hashem that everything comes from? Hashem is our God, he's a loving father. And if everything comes from Hashem, which is the first principle of Emuna that we all know very well, he alone does and will do everything. Who is Hashem that everything comes from him? That's our loving father. Our loving father. So if everything comes from Hashem, and if he's a loving father, it's for sure it's the best. So how can this be the best? When we're running back and forth into bomb shelters and people are afraid and children are crying, and to keep an emotional even keel, even to keep a smile on our faces, to daven, to pray, to do what we have to do, to learn Torah. We have to keep on. Life continues. And not only that, it's our prayer and it's our Torah that is the spiritual backbone of the IDF and the country, that they can do their job. We have to do our job to support our soldiers. We have to pray for every single soldier. We have to pray for the success of the IDF. Okay, because we know the war is spiritual. It's between good and bad. And we know that nothing can happen to us if we're doing the right thing. We're doing Hashem's will. Nothing happens but good. So what is Hashem doing? We mentioned last week in our Emuna Beams news update that the birth pangs of Moshiach are compared to the birth pangs of a woman giving birth. And just as we get closer to the birth, when the birth happens, we all say Mazel Tov. But on the way there, there's excruciating pain. And not only the pain doesn't leave, it becomes more frequent and more frequent. We suffered the COVID-19 and the pandemic. And Israel, just as soon as it was over, right away came the Meron tragedy. The Meron tragedy was only 2 weeks ago. People think in Israel today as if it's ancient history, because the Gemara says that the new troubles come and make a person forget the second troubles. We know just this morning at 7:30, in the middle of davening with the Melitzer Rebbe, we had 2 barrages. Last night, there was barrage after barrage. The children woke it up every hour and a half, every 2 hours. And there was dozens of missiles. Why is Hashem doing all this? We know when the troubles become more and more frequent, this is when we can expect Geula. This is when we can expect Moshiach. And this is what the prophet Isaiah says, Anovim, higia zman legulatchem. My humble children, the time of your Geula is arrived. We've waited over 2,000 years since the destruction of the Second Temple. It's enough diaspora, enough pogroms, enough Holocaust, Inquisition. What more do we have to suffer? Hashem wants us to be ready. How does Hashem want us to be ready? Hashem wants 2 things. Hashem wants us to improve our Adam l'chaveroi, our relationship between man and fellow man. And Hashem wants us to prove our Emuna. Proving our Emuna. Emuna is the modus vivendi. It's the impetus for learning Torah. It's the impetus for keeping mitzvot. A person doesn't have much desire to serve Hashem. He doesn't have Emuna, doesn't believe in Hashem. But when you believe in Hashem, you love Hashem, and you have a motivation to do his mitzvahs. You have a motivation to do his mitzvahs, to learn more Torah. You prepare your soul as a bigger spiritual vessel, and now it is able to receive the light of a Mashiach. This is what Hashem wants from all of us. And he wants to send us Mashiach soon. He wants to redeem us. He wants to send us the Geula. And that's the indication of what we showed in the beginning, the sound and light show in the sky. It's not very nice. It's a lethal sound and light show. But now, why right before Shavuot? Remember that the Torah was also revealed in the sound and light show at Mount Sinai. Hashem said, you want the same thing? Okay, now we strengthen your Emuna, and Be'ezrat Hashem, Hashem should turn the streaks and the lights of the bombs into the light of his revelation and Moshiach, speedily in our days, with the full redemption of our people in gathering exiles here in the Holy Land of Israel, speedily in our days. Amen. Have a wonderful Shabbat and a very lovely Shavuot. God bless.